Self-doubt is something many of us grapple with at different stages in our lives. It can be that quiet inner voice that questions our abilities, worth, or decisions, often casting a shadow over our self-esteem. While occasional self-doubt is a normal part of being human, persistent self-doubt can impact not only how we see ourselves, but also the types of relationships we attract. Unfortunately, toxic people, whether professional, social, or personal, are often drawn to people with low self-esteem and chronic self-doubt. When we're uncertain of ourselves, we may settle for relationships that don't serve us well or end up accepting treatment that we would never otherwise tolerate. In this video, we'll explore why self-doubt can make us so susceptible to toxic relationships, the signs to watch out for, and how to start shifting towards a healthier mindset that attracts more fulfilling and respectful connections. I'm Jo Banks. I've been a professional executive business coach for 15 years, and I'm sharing what I know. Why self-doubt attracts toxic people. Number 1, self-doubt and its impacts on boundaries. One of the primary ways self-doubt influences our relationships is by affecting our boundaries. When we constantly question our self-worth or second-guess ourselves in general, it becomes harder to establish firm boundaries with others. We may hesitate to say no or communicate our needs, fearing that we'll be seen as difficult or risk losing that relationship altogether. This can lead to a pattern of tolerating behaviour we're uncomfortable with, or even that we know is wrong. For instance, if someone oversteps our boundaries or exhibits disrespectful behaviour, self-doubt may make us feel hesitant to speak up. We might think, maybe I'm overreacting, or perhaps they didn't really mean it that way. I'll just give them the benefit of the doubt. This can lead to a dynamic where others feel that they can cross our boundaries without consequences, which toxic individuals often really go out of their way to exploit. In this way, unchecked self-doubt can create an opening for others to take advantage of us or treat us poorly. Number 2, low self-worth attracts validation-driven relationships. When we don't feel confident in ourselves, we may unconsciously seek validation from others to feel worthy. This can lead to a tendency to prioritise external validation over self-acceptance. In the context of relationships, this means we might rely on partners, friends, family, bosses, or co-workers to make us feel valued or good enough, making us vulnerable to toxic people who recognise this, and believe me, they can see this a mile off and will exploit it if they get the opportunity. Toxic individuals like narcissists or manipulators, which I talk about a lot on this channel, can easily detect when someone is seeking validation, and they'll use it to their own advantage. They might initially shower us with praise, attention, or affection, creating that love bombing effect that I've spoken about in so many videos. But once they sense we're emotionally dependent on their approval, they may start to withdraw that affection, acting inconsistently or even criticising us. This cycle can lead us chasing after their approval, reinforcing their control and amplifying our self-doubt. And that can happen in any type of relationship, not just a personal one. I've known more than a couple of bosses who behave this way. Number 3, the self-fulfilling prophecy of self-doubt. Self-doubt often leads to negative thinking patterns, such as assuming we're not good enough or expecting failure. These thoughts can become self-fulfilling prophecies as they shape how we interact with others and make decisions. For example, if we believe that we're not worthy of a healthy or loving relationship, we might subconsciously choose partners who confirm this belief by treating us poorly. Over time, these toxic dynamics can become reinforcing. The more we're treated disrespectfully, the more we begin to internalize this behavior as normal, further reinforcing our self-doubt. This can trap us in a cycle where we continually attract toxic relationships. Again, it doesn't matter what the environment, we still tend to attract those types of people, unable to break free from the belief that we deserve better. Self-doubt creates an environment where we unconsciously settle for less, reinforcing patterns of unhealthy relationships. Number 4, fear of being alone and settling for less. Another way self-doubt can attract toxic relationships is by creating a fear of being alone. When we lack confidence in ourselves, we may feel that we're not complete or whole without a relationship. This often leads to a fear of solitude, where we're more willing to settle for less than we deserve rather than risk being alone. This fear can lead us into relationships with individuals who are not respectful, supportive, or even kind. We might tolerate unhealthy behaviours or even red flags because our self-doubt convinces us that it's better to be with someone than be alone, or better to be in a job than not be in a job at all. This fear-based thinking attracts people who are willing to exploit our insecurities for their own gain, and they may use our fear of abandonment as a means of control. Number 5, ignoring red flags due to self-doubt. Self-doubt can make us second-guess our intuition. When we sense something is off in a relationship, we might dismiss our concerns, thinking it's probably just me overthinking things, or maybe I'm expecting too much. This tendency to override our instincts makes us more vulnerable to staying in toxic relationships. Again, that can be any kind of relationship, much longer than we should. Many toxic individuals are skilled at gaslighting, manipulating us into doubting our perceptions and feelings. If we're already questioning ourselves, this tactic becomes even more effective. We may start to believe the narrative that they present to us, leading to greater confusion, emotional exhaustion, and even deeper erosion of self-trust. Steps to overcome self-doubt and attract healthier relationships. Recognizing that self-doubt is affecting your relationships is a powerful first step. Here are some ways to start rebuilding your self-worth and self-esteem, setting stronger boundaries, and attracting healthier, more positive connections. Number 1, work on self-acceptance. Begin by acknowledging your strengths and qualities and accomplishments. Shift from seeking validation externally to cultivating a sense of self-worth that comes from within. Practicing self-acceptance helps you realize that you deserve respect, care, and consideration in all your relationships. Number 2, set clear boundaries. Practice communicating your needs and limits clearly and assertively. Learning to say no without guilt is essential for protecting your mental and emotional well-being. When you set firm boundaries, it becomes easier to recognize when someone is not respecting them. Number 3, challenge negative self-talk. Notice the critical or self-doubting thoughts that you have and actively work to reframe them. Instead of thinking, I'm not good enough, try saying, I'm capable and I bring value to others. Over time, shifting these perspectives and thoughts can help you change your self-perception and encourage healthier relationship patterns. I've got a really good video on how to deal with what we call automatic negative thoughts, ants. I'll leave the link below. Number 4, trust your intuition. Reconnect with your instincts, especially when evaluating relationships. If something feels off, trust your feelings and give yourself permission to investigate further or set clearer boundaries. Learning to trust yourself more fully can help you avoid situations that may harm your well-being. Number 5, surround yourself with supportive people. Seek out friends, family, or communities that uplift and support you. Healthy relationships remind you of your worth, encourage your growth, and help reinforce the belief that you deserve respect and kindness from others. Seek professional support. Overcoming deep-rooted issues like self-doubt can be challenging. Seeking support from a therapist or a coach like me who offers guidance and practical tools can be incredibly valuable. Personally, I am not a big fan of what we call non-directive therapies, where the focus is mainly on discussing problems over and over and over again, but never coming up with strategies. That type of therapy, in my experience, and I've worked with a lot of people who've been to that type of therapist, can just make wounds even deeper. Try to find somebody who can support you. Yes, you have to tell them what's wrong, but that they can give you some tools and techniques to help you heal. Keep this in mind as you explore your options. The wrap up. Breaking the cycle of self-doubt and toxic relationships isn't easy, but it's a journey that can transform every area of your life. As you work on building your self-trust, self-acceptance, and confidence, you will notice a shift in the types of relationships you attract, or not necessarily the ones you attract, but the ones you allow to stay. Healthier, more respectful connections will start to emerge as you step into your true self-worth. Remember, you deserve to be in a relationship that uplifts you and is respectful of you, not ones that drain or make you question your value. By addressing the self-doubt and making deliberate changes, and again, it goes back to the thing that I've said in a lot of my videos, this is gym for your brain. You don't just do these things once and you're fixed. It's a daily quest. It takes daily action to make long-lasting change, but you will be paving the way for relationships that reflect your true value. Relationships where you feel cherished, supported, and truly valued for who you are. What next? If you have anything you'd like to add to today's video or any topics you'd like me to cover in future episodes, please leave it in the comments section below. I read and respond to everything and really love interacting with you all. If you enjoyed this video, please do me the biggest favour and support this channel with a like, comment, subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. Finally, thank you to everybody who stays until the very end, and thanks so much for your support. It really does mean the world to me.